Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: people who lost their virginity after age 35, or never did. What's your story? Girls think I'm gay and gay people think I'm ugly. I'm sorry, but your username mixed with your comment just made me laugh so damn hard, lol. Big at the base, little in the face. A very large, very flamboyant gay man was hitting on my straight friend. Trying to deflect the unwanted attention to me, also a hetero male, he said, "What about EKJOE?" The guy locks eyes with me and says straight to my face, "You're too ugly to be gay." I'm still not sure how I feel about that, and it didn't stop the guy from hitting on my friend. LOL, I wondered what depraved sexual practice EKJOE was at first before I noticed it is your username. The internet has ruined me. I had a work colleague who at age 42 is still a virgin. Thing is, she wanted to have sex, she talked about it all the time, she wasn't religious, she didn't want to be married first, she didn't have any reason to not have sex, she just said it just never happened for her, and then as she got older and older it got harder and harder because potential partners thought it was weird. She's a pretty attractive woman too, so. Edit, to clear things up, I'm also a woman and have no D to offer her. She sounds like a nice lady who really wants and deserves it. I really hope someone comes along one day and, respectfully, fucks her senseless. Like a gentleman would. I was 35. Fat, no self-esteem, the usual story. I had long since given up on actively looking for dates. I was comfortable being single and had made peace with my life. Then I just happened to meet someone on a bus while on vacation and we clicked. Did the semi-long distance thing for a couple months before properly hooking up. The first time was predictably awkward. She knew what she was doing though, and I've since figured things out. Practice makes perfect and whatnot. Eventually she moved in with me and we got married. Still are. It's not a super interesting story or anything, but you asked for it. Your story gives me hope and glad you found her. Edit, thanks everyone. You met your wife on the fucking bus. I'm sorry, but that's a very interesting story. I try not to make eye contact with anyone on the bus. To be fair, it was a tour bus on Grand Cayman Island. And bus is a bit of a stretch, it was closer to a van. Everybody was crammed in and she was practically sitting on my lap, so some level of interaction was inevitable. 42-year-old virgin. Always been an introvert, never got out much, now I fear I've just missed my chance. Edit, wow, this kinda blew up. For those curious, comments seem to be split pretty evenly between, "You still got time, man. Just put yourself out there and it'll happen." And "Dude, just get a prostitute and get it over with." And yes, I have seen that Steve Carell movie. Man, there are 90-year-old dudes and ladies out there rocky the van. Don't give up, you haven't missed your opportunity. Yeah, they were the generation giving away free sex, his generation didn't give away shit. I work in healthcare and see the entire general population here. If some of the totally unattractive, stupid, racist, etc. patients I interact with have managed to get married and reproduce, you're probably like an 8/10 all things considered just by being even somewhat in shape, and being employed and educated. Thank you OMG, who is screwing these people? I'm 40 and still a virgin, something I never thought I'd be freely admitting on the internet to strangers, but there you go. Basically my parents told me from a really young age that I was ugly and weird and no one would want me. Any boy I did get close with, my mom pretty much scared away within a few days, then told everyone it hadn't worked out because I wasn't interested in that sort of thing. To this day I don't know why she did this. Maybe it was a control thing, or she had some kind of hang up herself, no idea. Of course, people at school picked up on this, especially at primary school since my mother taught at the school I attended and so made comments about my appearance in front of the other students, who gleefully picked this up as prime bullying material. Anyway, upshot was, that by the time I left home at 18 and went to college, I was convinced myself that I was ugly and weird and no one would want to go near me. I didn't bother taking care of myself or making any effort because I'd always been told there was no point. So it became a vicious circle kind of thing. I'm by no means a beauty, but I realize now I'm not as hideous as everyone made out. Even when I eventually realized that my mum was nuts and I had to be my own person, the damage was kind of done. No matter how much I try to be confident now, there's always that big bit of me that thinks, do I have a right to use a dating app, when really I'm such a waste of space? Or doesn't want to try anything like Tinder or whatever because you need to upload a picture and a big part of me thinks it'll put people off. People pick up on that lack of confidence when I speak to them IRL and it puts people off, which then eats away at my self-esteem even more, to the point where I really don't know how to fix this. To make matters worse, I got breast cancer 6 years ago and had to have some pretty extreme reconstruction because of the type of tumor it was and the damage it did, so I'm now covered in scars. The one bit of my body I used to be proud of was my boobs, and now they are completely horrible. I know I've pushed people away, and can think of numerous times when men were hitting on me and I either didn't realize or didn't want to admit it because I was scared I was interpreting things wrongly and would end up making a fool of myself. So I reckon it's self-isolation for me for the foreseeable future. Hi, I really think you could benefit from therapy because you can get some coping mechanisms to help with your self-esteem and your anxiety about your interactions with men. It's not exactly the same, but my friend had a very similar childhood as you. It was her father and she was also made to feel guilty that she wasn't disabled like her older sister, but in just a few months I've seen a huge change in her. If you can afford it, give it a try. It might not get you a boyfriend but it can help you feel better about yourself as a person. It's a shame that your mother has done this to you. Forget the sex. For now. You have some stuff to work through that is so much more important. I'm glad to see you know where your feelings of worthlessness stem from, because at least for me, it's so much easier to overcome negative thought patterns when you understand they are trauma-based lies. You deserve to love yourself. Stop ugly thoughts in their tracks. Speak to yourself with compassion, forgiveness and love even if you don't believe the words. As someone who has suffered self-loathing for years and only having recognized it for the fars it is in the last several, I still struggle with some of those well-worn ruts of negativity and the way they manifest in my behaviors and relationships, but my logical brain at least knows that I have worth. Honestly, the way I've changed how I look at myself and treat myself is one of my biggest sources of pride now. Please look up Drive. Nicole Lepera, the holistic psychologist. Her videos and IG posts helped me to recognize my trauma behaviors and to reparent myself. I lost my virginity at 31. I was generally uninterested in dating in my early 2020s and spent most of my time smoking pot and playing video games. In my late 2020s it became apparent I had no skills trying to attract the opposite sex. I went on and off again trying to meet someone using dating apps, but most women lost interest in me after the first date and the rest after the second or third. I had given up on dating again when my sister set me up on a blind date with someone her husband knew. We surprisingly hit it off. Fast forward a few months and the time comes to do the deed. I was understandably nervous. There are things about sex no amount of porn can prepare you for, namely the smell, taste, and mechanical execution of work that is sex. The first time was awkward, but it got better. I must not have sucked at it as much as it felt like I did because we've been married for 6 months now. Edit, when I said smell and taste, I mean that they are distinct, not rank. It concerns me that the first thing you mentioned was the smell lol. Edit, it was just funny to me the way he wrote it. Everybody got their own custom booty stank, it's fine. You haven't thought of the smell, you bitch. The smell was definitely in the top 3 things that surprised me the most. Wow, vaginas smell like that. What the fuck does my dick smell like to her? Weirdly, or stupidly, enough, the thing that surprised me the most was how close you had to get to the other person to fuck them. I used to be really introverted and it was kind of a shock to me. Christ, I'm literally on top of this person. I mean, I guess I'm inside this person, but I didn't think we would have to be this close. Yeah, I'm probably just dumb. I spent too much time studying while in school and forgot socializing was a thing. This now lead me to my current predicament where I have a high-paying job but no one I could call even a friend, let alone a lol. Bruh, that sounds awful. If the thought of having a friend is tempting enough, start trying to get one. Find a club with your interests, or go on trips to explore your hobbies more. You'll find people along the way. Joining a club is a great idea. But if you find it so, then you get their friends. It's like 10 for the price of 1. 48 years old here. Never had anything to offer, zero self-confidence, face like an orc. Never even attempted to attract a woman, never got further than polite conversation. Some people are very into orcs. I mean Fiona fell in love with Shrek. I lost my virginity at 35. I've always been overweight and a constant fear of rejection kept me from dating most of my life. Almost exactly a year ago I just said fuck it and downloaded Tinder. I went on a few dates before meeting the love of my life. She was only a little more experienced than I was, and never showed signs of surprise or made me feel weird about being so inexperienced. I intend to propose on the anniversary of our first date. For the people posting saying their chance has passed, it's never too late. Edit. Wow, my first gold, first silver / award in general too. Thank you all for the kind words. This made my day. Now I need to hope the surprise proposal doesn't get spoiled from her seeing this. Edit to an apostrophe. I got to the fuck it and download Tinder stage, but this soon led to a fuck it and uninstall Tinder stage.